Rise and shine, everybody. It's time to get the day started with the morning show of record for the homestead community, the Farm to Table Direct Show Morning Edition. And good morning, everybody. Glad to see you in there, Teresa Jukowitz. Good morning to you. You're first in today. All right, and it is. I hope you all are staying warm. It is colder than an Eskimo's toe out there right now. Good morning, Robbie. Glad to see you in as usual. I've kind of become to depend on if you're not there one day, I'm not going to know what to do. Have me all messed up. But anyway, so it is cold and it continues to remain cold. And speaking of that, let's check in with our good friend Jack and see what the Redneck Weather Report has for us today. All right.
Hey, good morning, Rednecks. It is 14 degrees, January the 21st, 2025. We got an 11-mile-an-hour north wind making it feel like 0 degrees. Got a little bit of a light dust and overnight snow. We're going to get to 28 degrees today. God bless y'all. We'll see you again.
Well, I don't know about y'all, but that is cold. Yep, trying to stay warm. I'm with you. I'm scared of what my electric bill is going to be. Good morning, Scotty. Glad to see you in. How's things up in the Northeast? Glad to see you here with us this morning. I tell you what, like I said, I'm dreading. See, I've got my first big electric bill from the early cold snap, and I wasn't happy with that. So I'm going to have to get my fireplace over here back in order. I've got one, but it's what's the best way to put this way? It's not. I've got some service work to do on it before I start using it in the house, but it's just an older fireplace. But anyway, thinking that might be a plan going forward, get some wood and try to have it. Yeah, what is the weather where y'all are at? You know what? I didn't even, 14 degrees right now, it says on mine, 14 and clear, so I figure it's probably about the same. 23 feels like 19, not as cold. Yeah, all right. Anyway, so there's the weather going around. That's all right. And as the ones who are already over there know, this is a live chat event, so feel free to chime in. Feel free to jump in the chat. And we will see what is going on today. Uh, Man, I tell you, the reality smackdown. Let's jump right on into that. Get on some of the news because it's going to take a minute. Because outside of one thing, it's almost all Trump. I don't know what to do. I guess after the inauguration yesterday, that kind of took over the news headlines and stuff. There's a lot of other things going on, I'm sure, but let me see. Just off the top, Trump pardons around 1,500 of the Jan 6 defendants and commutes another 14 sentences. Uh, it is, let's see, Trump to withdraw from Paris Climate Accord again, which he did. Trump declares U.S. will only recognize two genders, male and female. Let that one sit in. And I want to go over here. He signed a slew of executive orders, and we're going to go up here. Let me see where I'm at. Boy, because there's no way I can uh, uh, remember to read all this. So anyway, here are some of the ones on this first one. Immigration border proclamation declaring that an invasion is ongoing at the southern border, guaranteeing states protection against the invasion, invoking executive powers related to the surge of illegal immigration. We're going to talk today. Protecting the American people against invasion. Ending the border, going to continue building the border wall, and getting the CBP1 app. Declaration of national emergency, realignment with the U.S. Refugee Admission Program, and executive order. This is likely to get challenged in court, I figure. An executive order ending birthright citizenship, restoration of the death penalty for killing of federal agents or law enforcement, declaring the cartel as terrorist organizations, and protections from foreign terrorists, other national security public threats related to the southern border. So I think what he's saying is the doors are closed until further notice. Here's an interesting one. Federal workers ordered to reform hiring in the federal government based on merit, change in policy to make it easier to fire poor performers among the federal workforce. In order to hold former government officials accountable for election interference and unlawful disclosure. This had to do with national security officials co-signed a letter suggesting Hunter Biden's laptop Russian disinformation memorandum. Regulatory freeze to prevent bureaucrats from issuing any more regulations until the administration has full control of the government. I like that. Hiring freeze except for military and other exempted categories until they have taken control and other objectives are understood. And a requirement for all federal employees to return to full-time in-person work immediately. There's another one that's going to get a lawsuit, and it's going to be a federal policy that defines males and females as the only two genders, and an executive order ending diversity, equity, inclusion, DEI programs and policies in the federal government. Uh, I don't got a complaint there. Energy and the environment. Executive Order of Action Development production of natural resources in Alaska to make the state a resource reservoir for the nation to ramp up fossil fuel extraction. Did he say drill, baby, drill? I think so. Declaration of national energy emergency, energy production, easing the permitting process and other regulatory systems. I hope that doesn't bring back some of the stuff that, like Oklahoma. I was just talking about the fight against that energy corridor and everything else. I'm not sure how I feel about that when you get into eminent domain. Memorandum to improve Southern California's water access by routing more water from Sacramento, San Joaquin Delta to other parts of the state. Temporary withdrawal of all offshore wind leasing in order to review government leasing permit. Withdrawal from the Paris Climate Accord. Formal notice to be sent UN saying the United States put America first, international environmental agreements. Reevaluate, realign force standards. Listen, I'm just going to scroll here. I'm not even going to read them all. This is, anyway, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, got out of the WHO, full pardon, social media, 75 days to find a USB buyer. So, okay. All right, well, stop sharing that. We're going to get off of that. That, as you can see, is a whole lot of headlines going on, and it is almost all related to Trump. For my sports fans out there, Ohio State, if you don't know, Ohio State defeated the Notre Dame Fighting Irish last night for the college football playoff national championship. Can't say I'm thrilled with that result, but it was kind of the expected result. But anyway, so enough of that. That was enough for today's Reality Smackdown. The headline of the day is pretty well starts with Trump on everything. And if it's not Trump, it's what Biden did on his way out. Handful of other things. But there's the main thing. It's all pretty much Trump, which it will be for a little while. All right, let's jump right on into this day in history. Spaniard Don Francisco de Paula Hamarin plants coffee in Hawaii. First record of coffee growing in Hawaii. I jumped on that one because, well, Keith and I are into coffee. We spent a good portion of our day yesterday talking about coffee. And if the plans go forward there, Robbie, you can let Sonia know that we will have bags of, my dog just came up to say good morning. We will have bags of Cowboy Blend at the Okie Homestead Expo. So make sure she gets over and sees us. And we are going to bring, circumstances are we can't brew. Yeah, Robbie, I wasn't a fan of either one, although I'd have rather seen Notre Dame than the Ohio State University any time of the, but, yeah, I didn't have a rooting interest. Let's just put it that way. But anyway, we will have coffee, beans, or ground. I think we'll probably have it ground in bags. They're limited quantity, but we will have it at the Okie Expo. We just won't be able to brew it per our arrangements with the founders of the Okie Expo. And speaking of coffee, my lovely wife just brought me a piping hot cup of coffee. So take a little sip here if y'all don't mind. There we go. Now I feel like I can do this show right. All right. Anyway, but yeah, we're working on plans for that. But that was a good part of yesterday's conversation. So Sonia's disappointment led to something, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, like I said, we're gonna have some stuff going on there. Working on some other ideas as well. But coffee. Keith and I are working on a project with Olive Branch Aquaponics in an attempt to do some stuff coffee bean wise. We'll see how that works out. 1974, gold hits a record of $161.31 an ounce, and silver hits a record $3.97 an ounce in London. 1976, on this day, the supersonic Concorde has its first commercial flight. That was just one cool airplane. For those who are in airplanes, That was one cool airplane. 1980, just a few short years later, gold hits a record $850 an ounce. And for those who haven't checked lately, that stuff's up around $3,000 an ounce, and that's a big jump. 2008, fears of a possible U.S. recession caused a Black Monday for global stock markets. European stocks suffered their worst results since 9/11, and Asian stocks dropped as much as 15%. 2008 was a wild ride, that's for sure, when it comes to economics. And 2023, almost hate even ending it on this, but it was where the headlines went, and there just wasn't nothing talking about after. Good morning, Greg and Donna. Glad to see y'all with us this morning. 72-year-old gunman shoots and kills 11 people, injuring 9 at a dance studio in Monterey Park, California. Attempts second killing nearby before being surrounded and killing himself. But on a positive note, the Biden administration has come to an end. So anyway, this day in history is the first day of the second Donald Trump administration. Anyway, there we go. And that's today's this day in history. And so we are going to jump right in. Yep, good time. We're going to jump right in to our topic for this morning. Self-Reliance Scale. How would you rank? And you're going to say, what are you talking about, Ryan? And I want to show you what I'm talking about here. Hopefully y'all can read this. Here we go. The Self-Reliance Scale says, how would you rank? Now, it's a left to right. There's two different scales here. The first one is kind of, how do you get your food, like, 0 being right over here, fast food, ready made, that's 0. I mean, everything you get is fast food, or it's already made. You get it in a restaurant, or you get it at a fast food joint. You basically cook nothing. Uh, Mostly convenience. In other words, it's, you bring it home, you microwave it, or, whatever's easy. You do some, grocery shopping, that kind of thing, or, that kind of thing. And then half and half, in other words, you're about 50-50. Mostly homemade food, and then 100% homegrown or 100% self-produced. So it's all the way from 0% homegrown all the way to 100% homegrown. Uh, so basically, 0, you don't grow anything. Maybe you've never grown anything, all the way up to 100% homegrown, Joel Salatin-level self-reliance on food. Now, this is all food related. I'm not getting into uh, prepping and pew-pews and uh, lead rocks and all that stuff. But anyway, now the one below the bottom of that is 100% big box centralized. In other words, you get everything from the retail big box stores. You get everything from, you don't get anything local. You don't get anything from farmers markets. You don't get anything from anything like that. You go to the grocery store, or you place it online, and everything comes from there. Uh, the next step up is mostly big box, uh, and then half and half, and then mostly local and 100% local. Now, there's no right or wrong answer on this scale. It's a self evaluation tool, um, and a question that um, kind of each person needs to ask themselves. It's a very personal thing, and I hope that's readable. And with that, as a point to make, there's a note down in the comments, or the description, I'm sorry, down in the description and everything on this, you will find some links to how to source food locally and that type of thing, some steps and some things you can go through. It's a PDF that's there. It's absolutely free to download. It's absolutely free. It's a tool that's out there to help. It's something that Keith and I have been working on. We got put together, and I would recommend highly checking that out. Anyway, circumstances in life sometimes dictate why somebody is there. And I left that up for a little while. I'm going to go back to the full screen. And there we go. It's highly personal. Everybody's there for a reason, and it's making a decision, to evaluate where you're at and asking yourself the question of, do you want to get more self-reliant, more self-produced, or more uh, buying things locally, sourcing things locally where you can, um, it's really kind of how many, how dependent are you on the centralized food system, and how many links in the chain do you want to break? Uh, Keith and I have been doing our own self evaluations on this. We're going to go a lot deeper into that. Uh, Not tonight. We do have a show tonight. Tonight is a great show. Tonight we're digging into some real deep stuff on the bird flu. And that's going to be at 7 o'clock tonight. And I will remind y'all again at the end of the show. But next week, so a week from today, we will be doing another show, and we're going to go into the in depths of this self-reliance scale, and where Keith and I. Good morning, Jack. Glad to see you with us this morning, buddy. Uh, Anyway, kind of surprised I'm not seeing you. I figured you'd be headed off to work already, but glad to see you regardless. Whether it's Jack or Dina, whichever one. I figure it's Jack since it says Dyer Family Home. Uh, Enjoyed the weather report this morning. It's kind of cold and snowy out there where you're at. It's just cold here. But anyway, so a person has to evaluate for themselves where they're at on that scale, and are they comfortable and with where they're at, or do they want to move, and then what steps are necessary. Um, and well, good morning, Jack. I hit the wrong one. There we go. Everybody, let's see, find that comment. Yeah. We're not as self-reliant as we plan to be. Working on it though. Robbie, that's kind of, I think, honestly, everybody is probably at that stage. Some are probably, uh, perfectly content. Maybe, I don't know. But, and that's kind of where we're at, I'll be honest with you. And I don't want to go too far into it because I don't want to take away from next week's show. But, let's just say that I'm nowhere near on that scale where I would like to be. Uh, and barely a trace of snow, Jack says. Well, that just means a dust. Yeah, I don't think we got any of that. Like I said, it just temperatures dropped down real low. It's been. I'm ready for the weekend, ready for that warm up at the end of the week. I've had enough of winter. We can slide on into spring. But anyway, uh, because of my lifestyle, mine and my wife's, we're on the go a lot. Uh, And when the more on the go you are, the more busy you are, uh, the harder it is to do, 100% homegrown, 100% those things. I say it can't be done, I'm just saying it's harder. And we get into that. Many of y'all know I'm renovating kitchen slowly, and that hinders. But we'll get into that more next week. So when you slide up the scale from like 100% big box store, 100% fast food, eating out of a bag in a box, that kind of thing. You don't cook anything. Um, to sliding up to mostly convenience. In other words, it's quick stuff. It might be highly processed. You can throw it in the oven or the microwave. It takes no effort. Now, I'll get back to the microwave here in a minute because not everything that goes in the microwave is necessarily bad. I know that some people would disagree with that, but I don't. If you're just heating it up, reheating it, but anyway, mostly convenience, mostly big box store. Um, and I would say that that's probably closer to the, as far as mostly big box. I think a lot of people, and then the next step up is half and half. And I think most people probably, as far as at least within the home, the communities of people we know and maybe on the show or whatever, most people probably find themselves somewhere between mostly convenient, mostly big box, or half and half. I think that's where a lot of people, I think that's probably your biggest crowd. Now, there's a lot of people that are down on that other side at zero and are blissfully unaware and perfectly content to be right where they're at and have no idea what's in their food or where it comes from. They think it's all magical and falls from the sky. But no, not really. It's just sometimes that's their life. That's what they know. And they just don't know any better, or they don't know how to get started. And that's why that guide down at the bottom of how to source food locally that's in the comments is important. Some of the stuff Keith and I are going to talk about next week, steps and what we're going to do to, because that first step is the hardest, making a decision and coming up with a plan. Because we didn't get into these habits overnight. The big box and the supply chain and the government, they didn't get us there overnight, and we didn't get ourselves there overnight. Just like I tell people about weight loss, and I'm talking to myself. those pounds didn't jump on overnight, and they're not going to leave overnight. Um, anyway, and then there's those folks that begin to they cross over. I want to be like the Max. Yeah, that's I kind of like them, and I'd even say Doug and Stacy, Joel Salatin, John. A lot of those people who it's coming from the house. It's coming out of their gardens. They're raising their animals, and I'm realistic enough about my life where it's at to know I'm probably not anywhere near there, uh, or probably won't get there anytime soon. But making efforts to that end, to kind of find that balance. Hadn't figured out how to grow fruity pebble. There you, there you go, Grant. I'm with you on that. There's some things I hadn't figured out how to grow. That's the thing right there. But it's as you slide towards that scale to the right, obviously you're trading uh, labor and time uh, to have better. And I don't know. We're still working. I'm still looking through numbers. You know, is one way cheaper than the other? And I want to, you know, I'll tell you kind of a thing. And there are places you can buy locally. Most people have. I know I do. I have places where I can buy locally uh, quality food that somebody else raised. So I'm getting out of the box store. I'm getting whole food. I'm getting better food. There's even a place, and once I'll share more about that. Like I said, we're going to dig into that next Tuesday, uh, where I can get good, honest food that I just have to eat. It's convenient. It's meal prep. There's things like that, and we're going to dig into that. But it's it's making little steps, and the further you get along that, and kind of just a tease. We've been back and forth on what we want to call this, but baby steps to food freedom, baby steps to food independence. For those who know Dave Ramsey, he's talking about the baby steps to get out of debt. Well, this is baby steps too, and this is small little steps that will be able to be there to uh, just kind of help kind of hit these little small goals. And that's uh, people fail at New Year's resolutions because they set this real high lofty expectation, and they don't have a real plan on how to get there. Well, uh, I used to run, not because I particularly care to run, not because I particularly like to run, but because the military required me to run. Well, let's say I decided after all these years that I wanted to run again. I need to, but let's just say I decided I want to. My knees and back and feet would probably disagree. Uh, I'd probably be hacking lung and heart and everything else out. But uh, say I decided I want to run. Well, instead of saying I want to start running 5 miles a day, which ain't happening, or even a mile a day, let's just start with putting my running shoes on in the morning. I'm going to start putting my running shoes on every day. And pretty soon I get those. Well, I got a better chance of going out and even at least walking if I put on the right shoes or if I put on the right outfit. And then maybe the next step is I'm walking out the door and, going outside and stretching. You know, it's little baby steps. And we find ourselves that if we'll do those little steps, we'll find ourselves closer to our goal, and we're less likely to quit. We're less likely to feel like we failed than trying to shoot big, lofty goals. If I came in and said this year I'm going to plant, I'm going to build a greenhouse, I'm going to plant every vegetable, I'm going to get chickens, I'm going to get a cow, I'm going to get all these things, and I'm going to do all this, and I'm going to live completely off my land, and I'm not buying anything at the grocery store. That would last about one day. I mean, honestly, that'd last no time. And so, uh, so it's that. But this scale, and we will get this actually out. I put it up on the screen. I hadn't figured out. We're going to get it out to where it's available for people to see. I've got to get this. Me and Keith are working on it for a final hard thing with explanation. To kind of see, take a self-evaluation. I can't even go up 3 flights of stairs without almost. I feel you, Scotty. I mean, listen, I'm telling you, I've shot some video and done some things where I had a microphone on my collar, and or even my headset that I talked to my brother on. It's a noise canceling headset. If I'm out there working, he'll be like, "Are you okay?" Because I will be breathing so heavy. Hey, good morning, Troy Sutton. Glad to see you in with us this morning. Welcome into the Farm2Table Direct Show Morning Edition. Um, so I understand, Scotty. I'm the same way. 3 flights of stairs, I'm gonna die. uh, and so I completely understand that. It's a self-evaluation, as I said in the beginning. Each person has to assess for themselves where they're at in this scale of 0% homegrown, 100% big box, centralized food supply, all the way over to your Joe Salatin, Doug and Stacy level of 100% self-produced, 100% on the farm, or as close to it as you can get. I mean, I think you got to look to those people and keeping in mind that they didn't start this yesterday. Uh, they have been doing this for a very long period of time, and it took them a long period of time to get there. So it's setting a plan and getting an idea and a goal and wanting to achieve that goal. That will be coming up, not tonight, but next week on the Farm2Table Direct Show, Tuesday night live edition. My brother and I will break this down, share what our goals for 2025 are, where we want to see ourselves on this scale from where we are now to where we want to be at the end of 2025, some of the plans we have in place and some of the tools we're going to start trying to do. And y'all will get to go along on that journey with us. We will be sharing more and more of that. So I look forward to that. That's going to be a lot of, I don't know if it's going to be fun all the time, but it's going to be good. And in an attempt to get healthier, an attempt to cut more links out of the chain and bring things a little closer to the house. And just in general be better. And that's where we're at. So I hope that was kind of a little bit at least interesting, kind of spark a little bit of thought in your mind. And if you go back to the video and you can find this, or if you just understand the concept, write you a little note, 0 to 100. Maybe take time to kind of think about where you're at on that. If you want to make changes, and stay tuned for more information on that as we dig into this subject. Anyway, so I'm going to slide out now for that, and we're going to get into upcoming events. Of course, I know there's one in February up in Iowa, and I cannot find my notes on that. I had it found and then I lost it. But anyway, it is up there. But anyway, around here, those of us that are in the central region of the country, March 21st, 22nd, Okie Homestead Expo, Mays County Fairground, Pryor, Oklahoma. Tickets on sale now, $50 2-day pass. As I said, my brother and I will be there, Farm2Table in its full regalia. The next one on my list, the Shindig Ozark Living Expo, April 25th and 26th, Newton County Fair and Rodeo Grounds, Jasper, Arkansas. I don't know much about this one, but you can search that. If you're in the southern Missouri, Arkansas region, and you got time to make it up there on that weekend, looks like it might be a good time. It starts on anyway. June 6th and 7th, the Homestead Festival at Hardison Mills near Columbia, Tennessee. That's Rory Feeks. Big festival blowout, has all kinds of stuff going on, vendors, speakers, music, everything going on. I know last year I think they had over 5,000 attendees. This thing is monstrously huge. Keith and I do plan to be there at that one. It's June 6th and 7th. I will tell you it is a $75 general admission, and kids 6 to 17 are $25. It's a little more expensive than some of the others, but with planning. Okay, and of course, let me see. Ozark Homestead Expo, one of our favorites right there. We went last year. Marshfield, Missouri, September 5th and 6th. General admission is $50 for 2-day access to all everything. Kids 13 to 17 are $15, and kids 12 and under are free, but must have a ticket. Now remember that option being in there to click from the kids. So that's that one. Now, of course, then Oklahoma Homestead Rendezvous, McAllister, Oklahoma, September 26th to 27th. That's $15 for adults, Anyway, you can find that Oklahoma Homestead Rendezvous on Facebook, and there is a .org right now. It's OklahomaHomesteadRendezvous.org that is just getting up and running. It's got some great stuff on there, but it's still in progress. So feel free to go check that out. Homesteaders of America Conference 2025 is in October, Front Royal, Virginia. Tickets still on sale for $50 2-day pass. I'll be surprised if they're on sale much longer. These are, the ones that we have on our list, and I can tell you that Joel Salatin will be at HOA. Joel and Daniel and a bunch of other people, they will be at Ozark. Of course, they are going to be at Okie Expo, so that is, and as I do believe also at Homestead Festival. So that's 4 different opportunities to get out there and get to see some awesome speakers and presenters. So anyway, that's upcoming events, and I'll continue to refine that list as I learn more and find more. Anyway, folks, that is a wrap for today on the Farm2Table Direct Show Morning Edition. Glad you all were able to join us this morning as we kind of went over some of the headlines, all things Trump, and unfortunately the Ohio State University being college football champions. Anyway, congrats to them. Actually, I think they got a good coach, but anyway, they got, good for them. I know they've been giving praise and glory to God, and so hey, if that helps there. But anyway, not my team. But as far as that school. But anyway, thanks for joining in as we explored those headlines. They impact our world now and for the future. If you enjoyed today's show, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with your friends, subscribe to our channels on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Rumble. It is the best way to stay connected, help grow the conversation about food, farming, and community. I will take a side note that I am working on. Fortunately, the program we use doesn't always bring us the chat comments over from other services, so I don't know. I mean, they're supposed to bring Facebook and YouTube real easy. I don't know about. We're working on the whole X and Rumble, so I can see comments and feed over in my feed. But for those who did join and comment and join in, appreciate you being here. Until next time, keep your roots deep, your vision growing. Good food starts with great people. Remember, we are #Stronger Together. Tonight, 7 p.m. East Central Standard Time, my brother and I and Mr. P will be on talking about some in-depth dive into avian influenza, H5N1, and kind of some behind-the-scenes stuff going on with that, and why you should not get caught in the trickery. You should get caught up in that. That will be an exciting show tonight. We've got a lot of great information to put out with that. It's going to be a fun show. So hopefully we'll be able to see you all tonight. So anybody, be a blessing to someone today, and we will see you all on the other side. Have a great day, and let's hand this over to
No humans were harmed in the production of this podcast.